So I was at work, and I just got home. I was at work, and a video popped up on my feed. I see the thumbnail, and I'm like, LOL. I'm gonna click on this because it sounds like this guy's talking about someone that I might agree with. So, yeah.
Oh.
My face when he's actually reacting to my video. So I guess that checks out, right? So I haven't watched this yet. And we're about to. I wanted to wait until I got home so I could record a genuine first-time reaction. Well, let's get into it.
Alright everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we have another video suggested by one of you guys in the community. Shout out to the Taxman43 for suggesting this video.
And I put this green aura around my webcam here, even though it's kind of obvious. I just wanted it to be even more obvious. This is current me. So there's going to be a lot, we are in the ReactionCeption territory, so I just wanted to make that clear.
From right. Shady C, titled "Pushback on the quote killer is hard right now, quote agenda again." Yeah. So video's quite long, but I wanted to at least jump a little bit around.
How long was that video?
Give my take on.
How long is this video? This video is 20 minutes. I don't remember how long my video. I feel like it was about 30.
What is being conveyed here? Yeah. Because this is a survivor main trying to claim as if the game is killer-sided, even by skimming the comment section. It's just a lot of just like non-points,
Oh, I agree. The comment section is full of people disagreeing with me, so you're right. That is full of non-points. I like how he calls me a survivor main, and I mean I am a survivor main now, but he says it in a sort of connotation like I don't play killer. I probably still to this day have more hours on killer than I have on survivor, just for the record.
A lot of things that don't really disprove anything that we've been discussing.
Go ahead, try me.
Including the fact that they bring up, oh, but killers can streak for more than 100 matches. Okay, that's a non.
No, killers can streak for 2,000 matches, not 100.
We've discussed many times.
All right.
And I'll briefly touch on it because it's a point you hear constantly.
There's a reason you hear it constantly.
Well, killers have gotten to 2,000 wins.
Correct.
And it's like, yeah, but it's not every single killer doing that.
You're right. The weakest killer are tied with Swifts.
Number one. Two, people forget who did it.
Who did it doesn't matter. That's also a fallacy. The first argument is a fallacy. And the second argument is a fallacy. People forget who did it. I don't care who did it. Saying who did it, I mean, I'll let him finish his point, but I think he is finished with his point. Saying, oh, but the killers who did it on killer are just really good at the game. That's also a fallacy. That's like, you're literally implying that there aren't good survivor players. Go ahead,
Which
talk.
is Mobile 7, like a competitive DVD player.
Yeah.
With tens of thousands of hours, I'm assuming. Like,
wow. Wow, what an agreeable comment. Damn. And this is something people do, and I was going to make a separate video on this. Wow, he just said a statement that I can agree with. Oh, I'm agreeing with him? That must mean that I agree with his overall position. This is wrong. This is a fallacy. Yeah, you can sit there and say, oh, the killer that did this is a comp player and he has 10,000 hours, blah, blah, blah. You can say all these things that make you go, oh, But if you think about it for more than 0.5 seconds, you can give those qualifications to everybody, every comp player. And that's a lot of survivor players too. Why don't they have win streaks that match people with the same exact credentials as the people with the
hours and all of us watching this. Yeah. Playing one of the strongest killers in the game at the time. And basically streaking with that character. Pretty much having more hours than all of his opponents, having more hours with that character.
In a killer streak, yes, he will have more hours, experience, blah, 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 than the random public games opponents that he goes during a streak. But again, bringing this up as your point towards your argument is a fallacy, because the same can be said about a swift win streak. Most killers also don't have the same amount of hours as those killers you're talking about right now. So when survivors go for those win streaks, including comp playing survivors, they are also going against people that the survivors have way more experience than blah blah blah.
Than a lot of us using Blight, which I don't use Blight, so that already speaks for me personally.
We don't care about you personally.
At least thousands of hours on that character.
This has nothing to do with you personally.
So we're taking somebody who's already at their peak when it comes down to hours, knowledge, experience, understanding the game, going against...
At their peak does not mean community's peak. So again, remember, he's saying something that sounds like, oh, I can agree with this, but if you think about it, it has holes.
Casuals on Survivor. What do you think is going to happen when they're rock?
Yeah, again, so I mean, I just touched up on this, and he's just saying the same point. But yes, when you have these people that have, when you isolate it and you say this killer has a lot more hours than most of the people. First of all, most, not all, but he even said most, not all. When this killer has more hours than most of the people that he goes against, of course he's going to have a big streak. But that argument also applies to the other side. When the survivors have more hours than most of the killers, you should be able to say they're also going to have just as big of a streak if the game is balanced. But it's not balanced. We can all agree on that, but we have a disagreement on what side it's balanced towards. And at the end of the day, killers have a much bigger streak. This is very simple. This is very simple. And this is, and I had comments. I was getting a lot of arguments across a lot of different videos, and people just keep avoiding responding to these points. And he's doing the same thing. He's bringing up fallacy, fallacy, fallacy. No one can address this point. No one can address this point. They come to their conclusion first, and then they look at the data and try to figure out how to bend that data to fit their conclusion. And that's not how you do this. That's not how you do anything. You need to look at data with your mind clear of what you want the conclusion to be. You look at that data and you go wherever it takes you. You let it guide you. You don't guide it. You do not guide the data. The data should be guiding you. And if the data is guiding you, you can't look at the data that killers have much bigger win streaks and then somehow come to the conclusion that killer is hard compared to it's just stupid.
The strongest stuff that they can on a killer that's...
And I want to be respectful. I'm not calling him stupid. I'm saying this argument is stupid. And in regards to respect and being in good faith, I'll say so far his community has not, bombed my channel. Not yet. It could happen, and kind of expecting at least plus 20 dislikes. But whatever. And right now my video is 50-50. It's 9 likes, 9 dislikes. And in either case, it's like, this is, small potatoes anyway. I mean, I'm a non-existent channel. He's a small channel, but certainly much bigger than me. He's got 7.21k subs. But anyway, trying to keep it respectful here. It's people get heated in discussion. That's fine. So whatever. So I'm sure he's gonna insult me, and I'll try to forgive it, depending on the egregiousness.
But that means that the whole side. It's like, no, it's one single character with one single player with way more experience than all his opponents.
Okay, so this is also a problem. Yes, you're all right. So yes, it is one single player, one killer, blah blah blah. But it's not cherry picking. But this is definitely a problematic logic. Because he's the best, but there's a trickle effect. Just because we'll assume he's the best, right? Just because we can assume he's the best, that doesn't mean the next person down is way below him. Maybe there's someone right behind him. Maybe there's a lot of people right behind him. It's a trickle effect. There's someone at the top, but unless he's Jesus's fucking second or third coming, whatever the fuck you believe, first, whatever, unless that's the case, there's no reason to assume there aren't levels to it where there's, he might be the best, but then there's going to be a lot of people, and then at some point you hit average, and then of course there's people way below average too. We know that too. And it's fallacious to I hate that word. I hate how it sounds, but you know why. Anyway, it is fallacious to assume that, yeah, okay, he's the best, but then everyone else is just shit in comparison to him. And that's what he's arguing right now.
That's a very specific scenario that doesn't speak for the entire side.
And that also applies to all the killer characters. Yeah, you can say Blight or whoever the fuck. I mean, I do think Blight's the best killer in the game, but regardless, you can say, yeah, Blight has that streak, but it's, again, a trickle effect. He's not the only killer with a streak that high. There is a trickle. You know, there's the next killer's record is about it's around there, definitely well over 1,000. And then, like, as you keep going down the strength of killers, there's still like 900, 800, 700, you know? And then you get to the bottom, it's like Pig, Doctor, whatever the fuck, Ghostface, and it's like they're in the 200s, but the top survivor win streaks, which is, you know, with 4-man groups, competitive players with 10,000 hours of blah, blah, those are also 200 in the 200s. So the Swift, like, I'm so tired of repeating this argument, but people keep avoiding addressing it, so I'm going to keep re-emphasizing it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'll
magically make it survivor sided.
I'll let him continue.
I mean, well, not in that case. It does not make it magically killer sided, is my point. But anyway, let's go ahead and continue. So we're looking at a clip here that's being shown.
I want to do something.
This is one of the strongest palettes in the whole game on any map, honestly.
So right off the bat, I want to mention that this clown is on one of the most survivor-sided maps, having on the map with the most amount of pallets in any map at this point. 5 gens, nearly almost, I'm gonna assume that's 2, either that could be individual gens or that could be, we're gonna say 1 for the sake of argument, 1.5 gens done.
Sure.
This survivor main just mentioned is the strongest.
So my name is now Survivor Main. Keep in mind with the mental tactics that he uses. He's gonna label me and then passively use that to address me as a person. My name is now Survivor Main, but the listeners will subconsciously hear that and say, "Oh, Survivor Main is making a point. It's probably biased towards survivors." It's a tool that he's using to make sure people can't stay objective. He's making sure people remain biased in this conversation. Keep that in mind, because these tricks are commonly used. I think sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's unintentional, sometimes it's something in between where it's like, it's kind of just ingrained in their patterns now. They don't even realize that they're doing it, but it was a conscious point at some point. Anyway, strong fucking pallets, I will say.
Oh,
okay.
Have you not? Have you not? Oh, what's up?
He's just standing there?
What's the hold up?
Yeah, what's the hold up?
Now the clown did mess up his bottle there, but at the end of the day, we're in a zone full of vaults and pallets.
Just keep going, this is not a pause point. Good coming from
and at
me,
any
right?
point that the clown decides to break, he can just, like, Ots could drop down to that hole and then chain it to 2 more god pallets. So this
Those pallets down there are good, but you
map
can't chain it to that.
is automatically just a loss. Like, there's literally zero incentive to
Ots
go
is in
here.
a bad place right now.
So that in itself is the map design, right? And what can clown do, really?
Fine, I'll pause it here. What can clown do? Holy fuck. I really, because I know I go over this. I'm pretty sure I go over this later in the video. What can clown do here? He can just fucking break the pallet. He closes off the exit to this tile with purple shit, and he puts yellow shit on himself while he breaks the pallet. And then that way, Ots is fucked. He can't make it to anything else between his hindered move speed and Clown's boosted move speed. Clown will be moving at like 130 plus move speed, and Ots will be moving at 80-ish move speed. He fucking gets annihilated. He doesn't make it to anything. He can play this pallet, but once he drops the pallet, he's inevitably hit before he makes it to anything. That's just, any clown player will tell you that. This clown player would probably say, yeah, you're right. I probably could have done that. I'm just new to clown, and I haven't really practiced that yet. I would bet money that that's what this clown would say. Any clown with a lot of clown experience will say, yes, that's a hit.
I mean, sure, you can be, say, odds, like, you can, if you're going against odds, it's already bad luck for you. But
I mean, odds is good,
if you're
yes.
Aaron had, let's say, I would say you might struggle. Because Aaron had already had put in.
But it doesn't matter who you are. You're not God. You can't do things outside of the possibility of the game. I'm saying when a clown hits a certain skill floor with the character, no survivor gets out of this position. Doesn't matter who you are. You can't do an appeal to authority or whatever and just say, oh, hold on. Turn on some light. It's getting dark. You can't just have it. You can't just do an appeal to authority here and say, oh, it's Otz, it's Aaron or whatever. They can get out of this situation because they're well-known good players. No, it doesn't work that way. Any player gets hit here against any clown that meets a certain skill threshold, and that skill threshold is not high. It is simply the knowledge of knowing that you can put one bottle here, one bottle there while you break the pallet, and you have a free hit.
The hours to sit there and know exactly where to place the bottle, where not to.
How many hours did he say?
To sit there, because Aaron had already had put in the hours to sit there and know exactly where to place the bottle, where not to.
I'll put in the hours, okay.
And to be an expert at this character, to even be able, because I even looked over the guide, and they had an explanation for this tile.
Okay.
I can't even remember it.
Cool. So I'm right.
At this point, this clown player most likely is not like an extreme 1,000-hour clown.
That's my point. You are arguing towards my point, man. We aren't talking about the game in terms of bad players. You have to judge the game by the good players, because they are the ones who have discovered what you can and cannot do and how to play well and all the. Oh my god. This is like saying chess favors the player who moves second because all of the low tier players think so. Do you understand what I'm saying? We don't care about what the low tier players think when it comes to the game itself and what is within that game. Like truly what is within that game and what is possible within that game, etc., etc. What we care about is what the top players are going to say. If the top players say going first has a clear advantage in chess, then guess what? Going first has a clear advantage in chess. And again, it's not about just what they say, obviously. I'm sure, because if they say going second is better, but then the statistics show that in tournament settings, 60% of the wins are people who go first. That's... If I want to look that up. Okay. I mean, this is just whatever the immediate... Oh, hold on, what do we have? So this is kind of significant. So going first is about 38% win rate, and going second is 27 to 28%, where the rest is ties. I don't know how the fuck a tie happens in chess. I guess time, or I don't know, whatever. I'm not a big chess guy, obviously. But come on. So this is what I'm saying. You have to look at the stats. So obviously, it's kind of same thing in Magic the Gathering, When you play Magic the Gathering, you roll dice to see who decides who goes first or second. Everyone literally always picks to go first because going first is better. And some players that are bad at the game might say, oh, well, I prefer to go second because blah, 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 blah. And they spew off some either anecdotal shit or their actual legitimate thoughts on why going second is better. But at the end of the day, going first is not only better by what most people say, because what most people say can still be wrong, but the stats actually back it up. And that's what I'm going with here. We can all go back and forth about what we think this, what we think that.
Let's not bicker and argue about who killed who.
I just want to know the truth. And you should too. At the end of the day, when we look at the fucking stats, it tells only one story. There's only one story being told when you look at the stats, and that is that killer is stronger, okay? It's that simple. I didn't go into this with some agenda that I really wanted it to be, that I think one of the things is stronger than the other thing. I don't give a fuck. I play both Killer and Survivor. I stopped playing Killer because it became boring. It was either I win most of my games, or I go against, the Death Squad Swift, and I wasn't really prepared for. I've beaten them too, but like when I'm not prepared for it, yeah, you lose. I'm not saying Killer wins every game and they should win every game. That would be a straw man argument. I never said that. I never even implied that. But dude, I'm so tired of repeating it. The stats tell a story, and I'm reading that story, and people are criticizing me for reading the story and reporting back on what I just read. Okay? And again, no one really is bringing forth any arguments. It's all fallacy garbage.
I'm assuming that they are just playing for fun.
That's fine.
So
I don't
that
care.
means that we can then assume that if both sides are playing for fun,
Yeah.
and this is the map they're gonna get,
If both sides are playing for fun, like strictly speaking, then the match doesn't matter. The reason I reacted to this video is because both Ott and the person who actually like clipped this, and they presented this match in a certain kind of way to imply that Killer is struggling. Not this Killer, but like the Killer role is struggling, and I reacted to it to point out all of the problems in the video and the argument.
Are going to win bar none because of pallet strength and because of the perk strength. Now in this scenario, Ott doesn't have any perks that are like specifically going to give him an advantage. But
Not
say that
on
they
paper,
haven't used
but
Glide, or they haven't used Sprint Burst yet, or they haven't Sprint Burst 99, or whatever have you, or it's about to recharge. By the time the Clown even has a chance to even get close in this tile, they will automatically speed away to probably that pallet, or probably down there, into the bathroom area to chain to the next two God pallets. So like there really is no scenario where the Clown can make anything come out of this.
Is he saying this whole argument on the premise of this Clown isn't good enough to know where he has to put bottles to actually get the hit here after breaking the pallet? Is his whole argument the fact that this Clown is not good enough to do what he should do? This is a terrible argument. This is a bad hill to die on. Why?
And that's partially because of his lack of skill, but partially because of just how overtuned Survivor is.
No, you can't just gloss over. He lacks the skill, but Survivor, it's so funny. It's so funny that he gave me this crybaby representation on his thumbnail, which I don't know where that came from. I don't play Meg. I cannot wait to see what he says. I don't think he's going to get to it. Probably on purpose. He might have pre-watched, and he knows to avoid certain parts of this video that will prove me dead ass right. But if we assume he watches the whole video and reacts to all of it, I can't wait for him to really get to the meat and potatoes, where like the Clown is swinging and whiffing and hitting boxes and totally enabling the like Ott's perks right now. You remember that if you've watched this, if you watched the original video, like there's so much that goes wrong because the Clown is not playing well. And then the fact that they use those bits to say, oh man, this poor Killer is really struggling, and Survivor is so strong. Survivor is so strong when it's just this Clown played so badly. I want to see if he gets to those parts and has anything to say about it. And I predict that he will. This video is it's about 6 minutes out of 20. And I've been recording for 27 minutes. I'm so sorry. Let's just go.
The most pallet dense map in the game. At that point, it's just kind of a loss. You're like, all right, well, what can you do? Right? Especially as Clown. Like, what are you doing with Clown? Especially if you don't have the knowledge and placements of the clouds. What are you supposed to do?
But that's such a bad argument. What are you supposed to do if you don't know what to do? Why? He's just fucking off. Okay, so... And I left a comment or two in this video too, but I'll just go over it here. The Killer just threw the whole game right here. I haven't watched to the end. I'm assuming the Killer loses. I mostly stand by that. Probably a 4 escape, if I'm guessing. He only has himself to blame. He injured Otts for free. He had a free hit He pushed him into a corner, breaking some strong pallets along the way. Otz has nothing left. He has one pallet.
That's completely inaccurate, actually.
No.
Because notice how, like,
You literally said you just watched a video guide explaining how Clown puts bottles here to get a hit here. But yeah, go ahead and then now wind it back and tell me how I'm wrong here. Go ahead.
survivor main will frame the scenario. They say,
I'm
oh,
not
you already
framing
took out the
anything.
resources. Okay, but what about the resources themselves? Like that's the thing that never crosses these people's minds because they don't play killer.
Again, I
My
have probably more
explanation,
killer
just giving
hours.
you the explanation right here was more in depth and gave you more knowledge on the game than just saying, oh, well, he just got cornered. Like, that's not going to change anything.
He did. He
This is
got
the
cornered and
game
then
map.
Clown left.
This is literally the
Especially if it's, oh, this is the game map. Such a hard map for killers. And yeah, it really can be. But on such a hard map for killers, you have the survivor in exactly where you want them. This is one of the dream scenarios. Is they're in a corner and after this pallet, they're gonna get hit and you leave? Yes! He threw the game by leaving. He had a guaranteed hit on Clown. Clown has guaranteed hit in this situation. And you just said that you watched a video that explains how to do that. And then you're going to turn around and say, yeah, but the Clown player doesn't know how to do it. Therefore, I'm right in saying, not me, but he's saying, then he's right in saying the killer is hard right now just because this Clown doesn't know how to do what he's supposed to be able to do here. It's so asinine.
and mind you, gen speed is gen speed. So like, what scenario does he getting one single down, but he'll lose 2 gens?
No one cares. I actually do explain this in the video too. No one cares. Okay, get one down and then he loses 2 gens. Who cares? That's where the snowball starts. That's where the snowball starts. Killer gets 1 hook, and that 1 hook is a pipeline into 11 more hooks. It's just so easy. You put them on a hook, hopefully in a good spot because you're a good player. You can watch gens while watching the hook. The rescue happens, you snap back to hook. You either hook trade or you tunnel. Who gives a fuck? They're both pretty much a winning choice, but you know, you can kind of figure out which one you need to do. If you're running pain res, maybe you do the hook trade. If you're not running pain res, if you get the hit early and they can't have dead hard now, maybe you just go for the tunnel. If you're afraid of DS, especially as Clown has maybe the best counter to DS in the game. You just put purple shit on yourself when you pick them up. If they DS, you're stunned, but they're slowed. You're just gonna fucking hit them again in 1 second. You just eat through the DS. DS is not scary. It's once per game, and then you don't have to worry about it anymore. And you just keep. It's just so. Come on, dude.
So even if he gets the down here, it means nothing. Whether he gets the down or not means nothing. And if anything, it makes it worse because then you'll activate dead hard.
Oh, it's worse. This is the all right. So killers get so terrified of these perks that survivors say, oh no, it's dead hard. Oh no, it's DS. Oh no, I can't go at. They're stronger now than they were before. It's like Obi-Wan.
If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
You can't say that they're going to be stronger now because they have DH or DS. It's just ridiculous. It's just such a ridiculous argument, man.
The Clown is at a loss no matter what scenario he's in because he's playing a clown.
This is asinine.
Your yellow bottles can only carry you so far
They
across the map.
They can, in fact, carry you so far across the
economy.
map.
And what does that obviously mean? That means if you're using all your bottles to traverse the map, you're most likely not going to have one for chase. You have to pick and choose.
Oh no, God forbid.
Because reloading, it slows you down, and that means you can't hit
There's
anybody
also
for a good amount of
add-ons.
time.
There's also add-ons for either reload speed or more bottles, blah, blah, blah. Like, he's acting like you're just going in naked without add-ons. Killers, actually, here's a fun fact. Playing Killer self-sustains any add-ons you want to use. You get enough blood points to be able to spend those blood points in webs as you play the game as Killer to refill your add-ons that you use and, in fact, build up a stock of extra add-ons that you're using while you play. Only Killer can do this. Survivor cannot do this. Survivor has not only way more add-ons of each rarity where they go so many blood webs and don't even get any iridescence maybe that they're looking for, like gel dressings or whatever, brand new parts, whatever you want to say, but they also get less blood points per match as well. They average less blood points while requiring more blood points. They cannot sustain items and the item add-ons, but Killer can sustain the Killer power add-ons. Just a fun fact.
Time it, which means that if you're trying to corner them and then reload, you're still having to hold them there, which still means no one's injured, no one's down in that span of time, and then the gens keep flying.
I don't know, this is such a, I don't know what he's arguing right now.
It just kind of, it just goes to show you, like, the lack of knowledge of the other side is why Survivor Mains have no idea what the hell they're talking
Survivor
about.
Mains.
When it comes down to how killer-sided it is. When it's
Survivor Mains. That's my name, Survivor Mains.
Have chase perks, and he made it this far.
Well, hold on. Does he not have chase perks, or does he have dead heart and it makes him super strong? Which one is it? I mean, you're right. He doesn't have it active right now. That's right. But what was he saying? I was just talking
when
shit.
It comes down to how killer-sided it is, when it's not. Mind you, Us doesn't even have chase perks, and he made it this far.
Yeah. He didn't really do anything.
What are we talking about, man?
So Odds got hit for free. He dropped like a pallet, and then he was at like one of the best pallets in the game, and then he went over and he's here now in the corner. That's all he did. He didn't like make it this far. He didn't do anything. Nothing happened. Hardly any time has even passed. And he should be down right now. Between him and inevitably, that's an inevitable death.
It's not inevitable at all in this area.
Yes, it is. You even said it is.
Because in any scenario, you're either losing 2 gens, you go down, I mean, you're still gonna lose 2 gens. Then there's no hook really in this area.
Well, that's a wild assumption. Go on.
Really isn't. I mean, in this corner of the map, you have to hope that there's a hook nearby. So now, not only are we committing to the chase, we're getting a ninja. We're getting rid of like 5 resources because there's always one chaining to another one. Then we finally get him into this God zone, right? With this area, this workshop, God zone. This Survivor player literally just said,
there it is again.
Oh,
that's me, baby. Survivor player.
Strongest pal in the game. So what stops them from just chaining it over there?
Let me tell you again. Clown ability. Ding, ding, ding. That's what stops it from happening. Do I have to draw a fucking diagram? Let's do it. We'll say the map looks kind of like this. I didn't even really need to draw all this because it's not relevant. So we have clown. Right here, clown. And then we have Bots. Smiley face. Okay. So this is how this works. We're gonna give both scenarios. So if this is the situation, so if Odds drops the pallet here, and Odds is here, Clown is here. Clown puts purple shit right here, and he puts yellow shit right here. So he breaks the pallet. And goes this way, right? Otz either stays here and obviously gets hit, or he goes through this way, gets slowed down, and he won't be able to make it to anything before Clown comes and hits because he's slowed and sped up. That's that side. If we turn it around, which, by the way, Clown decides which direction he runs in for this. So let's even, we're in this case, we're even already deciding that he fucked up. When you come to this part, if that pallet is not dropped, well, you can put yellow shit here right now if you wanted. You would probably do that by the time you're about right here and he hasn't dropped it, right? So he hasn't dropped it yet. You put yellow shit here. You continue going forward. So only you get the yellow shit. And now you're in this situation where he either drops it or doesn't. And at that point, once he's crossing the threshold of the pallet, you throw your purple shit here anyway. If he drops it, He's getting hit. You break it. You're sped up. He's slowed down. He will not make it. He won't even make it to the hole. And even if you want to pretend like he makes it to the hole, he'd have to go through drop animation and then go down. This would be like the lower level, so not what we have. He'd have to go all the way here. He's in the gen room. He'd have to leave the gen room, come around here, and now here's like the first pallet. Not going to happen. Frankly, he'd be better off trying to go for this, but he's not going to make it to that either. You can go ahead and run that experiment if you want. I think he gets hit about here. I think he gets maybe halfway. And I wouldn't be surprised if he gets hit more towards here. Wouldn't be surprised. He's not making it to this pallet. Certainly not even to this. That's just how it is, man. Go ahead and run that test. Hey, by all means, if I'm wrong, show me. Show me that, okay? And I'll say, oh crap, I'm wrong about the whole thing in this situation. Go ahead. But anyway, let's get back to it.
Oh, the clown standing in front of me. Yeah, but he can't really hit you. Like, these sides on both of this table are so wide, and he's walking. You're just gonna outvault him every time. Only if the clown can properly place his purple and yellow, or I guess you could say pink.
Only if he can properly play will he get the result
right.
He's looking for. This is ridiculous.
Maybe get something out of it, but even then, you got to be so precise with how you place it.
It doesn't even have to be that precise. We're not even talking about like a top 1%.
Your momentum at any point, you're not getting your hit. Just guaranteed.
Not even
you're not
close.
getting your hit. Especially against somebody like Odds, who's already experienced as hell.
That's an appeal to authority.
At least 10K hours. So like you're just
kind of. It kind of is. It's Otts can't change how the killer plays, and Otts can't do things that are impossible for Survivor to do. You can't just keep saying, especially against Otts, in a situation that is completely in Clown's control, and Clown either does or does not meet that skill threshold to be able to do what he needs to do.
It's kind of cooked, especially this Clown player.
It's not looking good. This guy is 10 minutes out. He's halfway through this.
So it's like, on one hand,
he's not going to make it to the strong points of this video, which I think is intentional.
I've been saying that since day freaking one.
What's he been saying? Sorry.
So it's like, on one hand, I understand the idea of like, killer players need to improve. I've been saying that since day freaking one.
Okay, is that his olive branch? Is that like the extent of the olive branch?
They don't get seen. Fine. That's not the point. Regardless of that, Survivor players are still also bad at the goddamn game.
Both do bad things all the time.
Behavior has added multiple second chance perks. Multiple second chance perks.
This isn't because they're bad. Can you imagine the game? He's probably going to say like baseline BT and all that too. Can you imagine the game without not only baseline BT, but like even perk BT, without Decisive Strike, without Dead Hard, without any second chance perks? The game would just be, oh, you're on a hook, GFG, because you're on a hook. Okay, you're rescued, you're down, you're put on a hook. Oh, you're rescued, you're down, you're put on a hook. Can you fucking imagine that? I mean, the game used to be that. It was just that was crazy.
Mechanics. And if they're somehow still losing, that already goes to show you the lack of skill. But the problem is that they're artificially boosting these people's escapes, or at least
Pausing yet again. Killer is pretty much well known. In fact, the community, the killer community, Killer Main. I'm gonna label you Killer Main, and that's your name now. Killer community. You guys have been complaining about the MMR and how Killer kind of gets speed trained into soft cap MMR without having yet really learned the game. Survivors, because MMR on Survivor side is individual and not team-wide, a lot of the people that reach high MMR are the people that play shit like No One Left Behind, or not, sorry, Left Behind, not No One Left Behind. They're the people that play like Soul Survivor and all the selfish perks where you just like want Hatch or be the only one to escape and you just hide from the killer. You know, all the people with Urban Evasion and Calm Spirit, and they're just trying to avoid being seen, and you know, things like that. Those tend to be the people with higher escape rates, and quite simply, if you yourself have a higher escape rate, you are a higher MMR, because it's not about the team, it's about the individual, and that's wrong. It shouldn't be that way, and it promotes toxic gameplay, but it is that way. So Survivor has MMR problems of their own, but the problem with Killer MMR is that they fucking instant transmission to soft cap MMR, and they're not ready for it because they can go against comp Swifts all the time. And I think that might be part of what happens with why killers think the game is really hard, is because they get instant transmissioned to soft cap MMR without being ready for it, and that then puts them in the same bracket as both the Claudettes that are crouching around and hiding in lockers, but also the comp Swift teams that are going to decimate them because they're just fucking not there. So, I mean, fuck, at the end of the day, that could just be the whole problem, and why the waters are so muddied and no one can tell what's going on and who really is the strongest role. This is why I look to world records as the primary point of observation of what's going on with the game. Even in like competitive tournaments, that's still a limited time frame with a limited amount of people. There's just too many, and usually they have limitation rules. And I mean, the last one I looked at seemed to only limit. Someone linked me like this tournament Hens, and maybe some other people hosted, and it was supposed to be like, oh, no rules, but there was actually rules against killers and not survivors. And also the point distribution system promoted spreading out hooks, which doesn't really tell the whole scope of the game. People would cite that tournament as, wow, this tournament happened where there's no rules and killers struggled to get kills. But it wasn't that killers struggled to get kills. They would actively avoid tunneling someone out that they could have easily tunneled because they get more points not doing that. So there were a lot of games that were 4 escapes, but were considered a tie by the tournament point system because of how the points were distributed. So people are using that as a source of like proof of something that it doesn't actually prove, because there were a lot of influences making the games not actually play out how they would in a public queued game. I don't even remember what the fuck I was talking about because I kind of locked in on that side topic, but it is towards the point that people just pull not only the wrong data, but they also draw the wrong conclusions with the data that they pull, because they're not pulling all of the information, they're not calculating everything, they're just and it's kind of back to what I said at the beginning. People are deciding on their conclusion and then figuring out how to make it so the data supports their conclusion that they decided on, rather than letting the data take them wherever it takes them.
Officially boosting their performance.
Right, that's what we're talking about. Yeah, so no, killer easily, and I think most people, whether killer or survivor, would agree with me, killer is the side that gets boosted to high MMR, not survivor. Full stop on that.
As it is.
Clearly he wouldn't agree with me,
issue.
but I think that's disingenuous. What does Clown do? He fucks off. 1 gen finished, This is gonna be such a long video.
He's panicking. Oh shit.
Gens are being done now. 1 gen went off. Oh no, I have to go back and start kicking the generators. And this is a panic trap that killers fall into. I have so many recorded examples of killers doing this. They just panic. Oh no, the gens. And then they think.
So that goes to show you that this person doesn't know what the hell they're talking about.
Again, I probably still have more killer hours than survivor. I have fallen for this trap before. Usually it comes from the fact that you didn't do well enough in the early game and you don't have anything to show for the game state, and then you're down to 2 or 1 gens left, and then you're panicking, and in reality you already lost and you're trying to like not lose, but you're already dead and you don't know it. It's kind of like that. But yes, people absolutely fall into this trap. I've done it. And I see a lot of other killers do it, where they don't even commit to anything because they just keep dropping chase to kick a generator, even though that's totally in vain, because that regression is not going to mean anything when there's 4 people ratting out on the gens and leaving when you approach, but then there's two or three people hitting the gens behind you when you leave, and it's just It's just a downward slope. You're just going to eventually lose. You really just need to fucking commit to someone. You might lose the gen. Fucking whatever. You already lost, and you're going to just make your loss worse with a 0k if you don't just commit to someone. Just commit to someone, put them on hook, you lose gens, whatever. You already made your mistakes, and you're laying in the bed after making it. Do you understand? So, like, at a point, you just commit. At least get 1k. Maybe you snowball. Something happens. They make mistakes in the end game. Blah blah. You might get 2k. You might get 3 or 4. You could slug them all. That can happen. This shit happens. But you can't just fall into this trap of, oh no, I have 1 gen left. I'm so scared of it popping. And kicking gens makes that gen not pop. So equals, therefore, I have to stop chasing to keep kicking gens. It's a false conclusion. It's a trap. It is. It doesn't mean I don't know what I'm talking about. You have not argued anything. You have just said, I don't know what I'm talking about. You have not argued anything. You have made 0 arguments. In fact, you have made some arguments that support my argument.
It's really easy to pick it apart.
Then do it.
And you try to explain it to these people.
No, don't say it's easy to pick apart, but these people are stupid and they'll never get it. Do it. Put your money where your mouth is. All right? You can't. That's in these comments too. People keep saying, "Oh, you just must be stupid," but they're not explain. I'm saying, "Yeah, sure, I'm stupid. Can you explain it?" And they're like, "No, I won't." And it's like, you guys don't have any ground to stand on. You literally refuse to explain your points. Do it.
Try to tell them in different ways.
Do it.
Why
Do it,
certain
pussy.
things are done.
Do it, pussy. Tell me. Do it, pussy. Tell me.
Why X, Y, and Z occurs.
Do it.
Why this happens.
Do
why
it.
that happens.
Do it.
What about this? What
Do
about
it.
that?
Do it.
And they will still
Do it.
find some way to
Do it.
twist it
Do it.
Do it.
around
Do it.
in their own made-up narrative. And it's like, it doesn't make any sense.
Do it. Explain.
The clown already took out, according to what was
Jesus
explained,
Christ.
a couple of resources and got to an area where he literally has to reload and has no other
He's only got
choices
8 minutes
but
left. He's not going to
either
get to
commit
the real
chase or not.
critical points of this
Regardless,
video.
does nothing. One hook is
She's
still
cherry
nothing
picking.
in comparison to almost 2 gens done. There is literally 0 progress
I've already addressed
you can pull
this.
from that.
I've already addressed this.
Because it's clown. He still has to mosey his big self all around the map.
He's big. That doesn't make him move slower. In fact, he moves faster than any other killer.
Use the yellows. So then you're.
Is that another intentional, like, subconscious mental assault here? Like, he's trying to trick people? Clown is fat, but he actually moves faster than all the other killers in the game, by the way. He is the fastest killer in terms of just move speed. Obviously, Blight uses Blight power and moves faster. Nurse teleports, but short distance. But, like, in terms of just raw move speed, he moves faster than everyone else. Anyway,
You're gonna start running out of those bottles by the time you get into a chase. The map is quite big.
Run add-ons. It's self-sustainable to run whatever add-ons you want.
He's not gonna magically get hits over walls.
I'm also tired of this. This is actually, I was thinking about making I'm pausing for I think I should pause a little bit less and let him get through this, because I think I've already addressed everything. But this is something I wanted to make a video on. People say M1 with such negative connotation. Do you know how many killers, for example, Hillbilly, Bubba, to sometimes a lesser extent, how many times you play against a killer and you're thinking, if this guy keeps refusing to M1, I might be okay here. But if he M1s, I could be in trouble. I'm sure if you have played Survivor at all against these killers, you know that I'm right. This is something that is thought. M1 is not bad. It's not a bad word. It's not like bad to have it or only it. Like when you're against like a Hillbilly, Blight also can be a good example of this. You know, the fact, I mean, Blight I think was nerfed kind of recently to be a 110 speed killer, but he was a 115 for the longest time. The fact that he could fuck up his syringe charges, but then still be a 115 killer into M1U was like such a huge thing that they nerfed it. You know what I mean? It's like M1 is not a bad word. Saying you're an M1 killer, it's not a bad connotation. There's nothing wrong with M1. It's very strong. Killers that have insta-downs are glad that they also have the option to M1. It's just,
or
yeah.
through the wall or something. He just doesn't do that. He's a clown player. And then the next thing you'll hear is, "Oh, just play S tier." And then what's funny, they'll complain about going against only S tier.
No. I know what you're saying, and I agree with what you're saying as a general populist kind of thing. But don't clump me in. That's, I think, you're kind of straw manning. There's probably a more accurate fallacy for that, but it's kind of straw manning. I didn't say that. I didn't say go play an S tier. I didn't say that.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So it's like, what are we doing, dude? Like,
I didn't say that.
And it still doesn't actually prove anything.
You're right, but I didn't say that.
Gens, and
good thing I didn't say
have
that.
To go to the gens, and they just start kicking, and they're stuck in this infinite combo of always kicking generators, dropping chase to go back and kicking the generators again. The game is a 4 versus 1. If you just keep dropping chase to go kick a generator, you might get one person off of one gen. There's still 3 other survivors. That's not how you win the game as killer.
That is not incorrect. I will say that much. I don't disagree with that. And that boils down to a lot of killer players that are just inexperienced. They just panic and like I agree with. They panic. They start trying to kick everything.
He just
But on the
disagreed
other
with
hand,
it.
I have so many recorded examples of killers doing this. They just panic. Oh no, the gens, and then they think.
So that goes to show you that this person doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. So
we
understand from
agree
the
with
killer's
whatever, it's
perspective, it's
fine.
like no matter what chase you do, you're losing 4 gens in 2 seconds.
Yes, and this goes back to what I just said. And of course, he doesn't hear me saying it because I'm saying it in this video and not that one. But there is a point in time where you already lost because of the bad decisions you already made. So you're in this state. It's unfortunate. You're in this state and you may not be aware that you're in this state, but it's a state of reaping what you sowed. It's a state of laying in the bed that you made. You have to now deal with the repercussions of shit you did earlier in the match. And you might think, oh, but I'm my own person, I have agency, blah, blah, blah. No, you don't as much as you think you do, because you are now reaping the downsides of the mistakes you made earlier. That's something that is unsaid. It's too unsaid amongst the community. In fact, I don't think I've heard anyone else really make that argument or point out that observation. But by all, I think he would even agree with me. He seems like he'll agree with things that are kind of just so objectively true that you can't refute it. I think he would even agree with this statement that I'm making. He'd probably twist it and so. Sorry, I don't want to I'm not going to straw man. Sorry.
You could literally just walk across the map and lose 3. You can go into 1 chase, lose 2. Like the math ain't mathing.
Yeah, it's true. But the math does math. The math does math because that's not the full formula, we can say. When you get a hook, you are actually disabling 2 people, at least, because you're disabling the person on the hook, but also someone has to rescue them. And hey, goddamn, if you find the person that's rescuing them, now someone else is going to have to rescue them, and that's a 3rd person disabled. You have only 1 person on hook, but now you could have 3 people disabled. Very many examples of situations where you start to snowball off of 1 hook. So, yeah.
I also understand that like you're already lost the game from the rip as a killer player. But somehow,
he
and
almost
this is why I tie it back
touched
over
up
to the
on
main
what I
point,
was trying to say.
Somehow that doesn't
But
compute for these people.
No, you don't just lose the game because you're playing killer, dude.
Claim it.
You can't say you lose the game automatically because you're playing killer, but then also killers have 10 times the win streaks as survivors. That's what doesn't compute, man. You're just not looking at the stats and letting the stats guide you to your conclusion. You are trying to force the conclusion that you already want to have, and then you're trying to manipulate the perception of the statistics to get people to that conclusion that you want. And it's creating a lot of arguments that are just unnatural and fallacious, and it doesn't add up. And it's okay to just say, damn, you're right, I was doing that, and I'm going to try to change my ways. I know that's a tall order, but
So
like
it's killer sided. It's like, but how?
and I would do it if you actually convinced me that I was wrong. I would say, "Damn, you're right." In fact, I already have changed my opinion from what I used to have. Although I know why I had the old opinion, but I used to play Killer exclusively, and I have made videos saying, "Oh my God, Killer is hard. Killer's so frustrating. It's a struggle." Blah blah blah. But the reality is that came from a place of mostly playing Pig, Doctor, and Ghostface as my 3 mains. I did also play some Plague, which is, she's a good, obviously much better than them, and maybe some Wesker or Dredge here and there, just some scattered other killers. But those 3 that those were my mains: Pig, Doctor, Ghostface. And not only that, but fundamentally, I believed that the best way to play the game was spreading hooks. Because I thought, in theory, if you spread hooks, it means everyone is unable to do gens because they're stuck healing and rescuing and blah, blah, blah. That was my game theory. And when I would lose games, I thought it was because I was just not performing that well enough. And so I was always trying to make that my strategy. As we know, that's not a good way to do it. You really just want to smart tunnel. And you want to proxy camp, and that's like really the bread and butter. Obviously, you don't hard stick to any rule. You do what's smart in the moment, but that's usually is what's smart in the moment. And I would refuse to do that because I had some belief that wasn't what should happen. And despite the fact I usually played 8 hooks, no kills, not like as the result of the game, but like where like, I might get my first kill in most of my games on 7th hook plus, right? I still won most of my games, and I was kind of being a spoiled brat by complaining. And I admit that now. I can admit that that's what I was doing. When I play Killer now, it's sarcastically. I play it egregiously camping and tunneling, shamelessly, you could say, and I do it to prove a point. I can just jump on Killer and do this no problem. So when I play Survivor and I go against killers that are like playing Blight and doing this, it's like, how are you taking yourself seriously? I do what you're doing without even using killer power, and I don't take that seriously. But you were playing Blight, egregiously camping and tunneling, and you take yourself so fucking seriously that you're tracking your win record, and you're like robo mode. You're like, I gotta go next, I gotta rack up another win, blah blah blah, and you're like Terminator, and it's like, dude, no one fucking gives a shit. Like, no one gives a shit. And I made this right, that's a whole other topic. I'm not anyway.
How? If it was so killer sided, why are people literally losing the match from step 1? Like, they walk up and then boom, the game's over. Like,
what is this argument?
Doesn't that mean it's way harder to play Killer?
What is this argument? This is like he is like directly, if the game is so killer-sided, then how are people losing upon loading into the game? What is that? What are we talking? What is that argument? I'm gonna let him talk, because right now he's just like,
you walk up and that's it. It's over, right? Because if we're assuming, right, 5 gens, game started. Clown commits to this chase, loses 1.5 to almost 2 gens for 1 chase.
Yeah.
In what scenario is he making a comeback?
Well, like I said, it's not like it's not, and it's funny because I used to make this argument that he's making, right? But that's not really the picture. That's not really the full picture. It's not like, oh, he lost 2 gens for 1 hook. Well, that means the next hook is 2 more gens, and then halfway into the next hook, it's the last gen and the game's over. There's so much wrong with that. And there's so much wrong with that. And it's because one thing wrong with that is the snowball effect. You can do 1 hook for 2 or 3 gens. We'll say 3. We'll say 3 gens. That's kind of crazy because the chase should have been over way before that. And that's part of the, well, you fucked up and now you're laying in the bed you made. But regardless, let's just assume it, right? For the sake of the argument. And keep in mind, the first 3 gens are the easiest ones to do as Survivor. That's just
That's something I've always been telling people, and I think the more experienced players will agree, yeah, that's true. The first 3 generators are the easiest. So anyway, so you get the first hook for 3 gens. We'll just say it's that trade. From there, one person is disabled. A second person needs to rescue, so they're effectively disabled and not doing gens. Hey, that's fine. You only have 2 gens left and there's 2 people still doing gens. Sure, whatever. That takes 90 seconds, all right? That takes 90 seconds. If you encounter the second person that was going for the rescue on the first person, good. That's going to disable a gen person. Because now they have to get off the gens and go to that rescue. What if you down the second person? You can either slug them or hook them. Totally depends on the situation. If it happens close to the hook, yeah, you know, or whatever. You can, you know, assess what you want to do there. And this one person is not going to do 2 90-second generators by the time it matters, as you are ping-ponging off of these 3 other people. Do you understand what I mean? I know you do.
Because if these are intelligent players, one hook does nothing. It's like, hey, get them off the hook, boom, fully healed in seconds because they have perks for that.
Oh my god. This is so bad. You are just assuming people, you're just teleporting people to, like, the state. Right? You're just teleporting people to the game state you're talking about. Boom, you rescue them. Boom, you heal them. Wow, me the listener says, wow, that took you 2 seconds to say those sentences. That must mean it takes 2 seconds to accomplish that in game. No, it might take 20 seconds, 30 seconds to run from your gen to the hook. Unhooking them, couple seconds animation, whatever. Healing them is 16 seconds. Okay, you have will make it. It's still 8 seconds. You still got to run back to your generator. And what are they going to do? Are they going to fuck off and go to a generator? Or are they going to follow you? You always say ganging up on generators is bad. But then if they don't do that, they got to go find another generator. How long is that going to take? 10, 15, 20 seconds? I don't know. If you're not running Deja Vu, how long does it take you to just find a generator? I'm sure you don't instant transmission to it. All this shit takes time. You want to know what taught me the lesson of all this shit takes time? You might not think about it in your head because it's like a chore that just kind of you want to just get it done, but it really does add up. I'll tell you, back when I was a killer main, in fact, that's why it's amusing that this is what taught me this lesson, and you, the killer main guy, have not learned this lesson, it seems. I took down statistics because I was frustrated while playing killer. I took down statistics on how much time I spent doing things in a match. And I was appalled at the fact that the stats looked really good, but it wasn't good enough to get a win. This was, of course, when I was spreading out hooks, you know. And again, but the stats were the amount of time I spent basically not doing anything, looking for the thing to do, like usually looking for the survivors to start chasing. So the time spent looking for survivors, the time spent in chasing survivors, and then the time spent after I down them to pick them up and put them on a hook. All right. Now, the average time that it takes after you already down somebody to pick them up and put them on a hook, about 15 seconds. That is a lot of time doing basically nothing. You already won the chase. You're not looking for the next chase. You are just simply trying to collect the reward for having won the chase. And that takes an average of 15-ish seconds. I remember that statistic because it has stuck with me. And that's something that you would like to think about because it supports your overarching argument of killer is struggling. It takes 15 fucking seconds to collect the reward for winning a chase. That shit is annoying. But that also applies to survivors. You don't just teleport, unhook, teleport, heal, teleport back on the gen. This shit adds up, I promise you. In games, and I did this with Dredge, with like Barbecue and Lethal, so like I was just, you know, and I would have, and I took down like average chase times and everything. I would have like average chase times of like 20 seconds, average injury times of beginning the chase and injury. So not down. A chase time would be like downing them, or a chase time could be like hitting them twice. I would have like an average of like 10 seconds to enter chase and get a hit on someone. That's pretty good to average, which means you could just assume every 10 seconds I hit somebody if I'm in chase. That's actually wildly good. And yet I would 0K in some of these games if I had spread hooks. So anyway, and that is a problem. I think that's anyway, that's another topic. And probably one we would agree on, but we're too busy with this bullshit fighting that we cannot agree as two different communities. I say quote unquote as if I'm Survivor main guy, but I'm kind of just both, you know? Anyway, it's kind of crazy of how much time is spent on something that you don't really consciously think about as what you were doing during a match. And so when he kind of blitzes through all this, just to say, like, when he blitzes through, oh, you just rescue them and heal them and you're back to it. That's such fuck shit that I don't even want to fucking take it from this fucking guy who's supposed to be a killer main and spends a lot of his time putting people on hooks. He should know damn well that this shit adds up. All these little mundane chores, they don't just happen for free. They add up. And either he just hasn't done the legwork that I have done. So, in fact, he's the one who doesn't know what he's talking about. Or he's being disingenuous. It's one or the other. I don't see any other possibility. Yeah, back to gens.
Another one. I mean,
boom, boom, boom. Back to gen.
And then another one. And
rescue,
then
heal,
one.
back to gens. It's not
clown.
that easy, dude. It's not that quick, I should say.
All that time, you're like, oh, better place this here, and put the yellow here, and then walk around here, and then over there.
Yeah,
gen's
sorry.
already done. There's just no time for that. We even seen Aaronad switching characters at this point. Already getting frustrated with the game. Already switching the game. Playing Guitar Hero instead, or other stuff like that.
Sure.
Like, what does that tell
So are
you?
killers. Or, I mean, so are survivors.
But somehow it just doesn't compute. I don't get it.
I can admit both sides are doing that. You can only admit the killers are quitting.
Neutralizing somebody, and then continuously neutralizing more and more people.
And, I mean, fucking hook camping, returning to hook, tunneling or not tunneling, regardless, like, that gets you pressure on 2 people minimum, and they're gonna die before, like, 2 other people can do 5 generators. This clown is being a clown. He's
That's the thing. I agree with this guy, but the thing is that there's just a lack of knowledge. There's a lack of knowledge that's going on here. And
what
it's the
is
killer
it?
experience, right? Because when you're in the shoes
But I'm
of
coming
that
from
clown,
someone who started this game as the killer
right?
experience.
You're on the game map. You're playing clown. You only
That's
have
most
what,
of my
yellow to
experience.
maybe traverse the map. The game is already over, as he just finished saying. The game is already over from the very beginning.
And anyone who wants flat numbers, I have about 2.5 to 3K hours on Killer and Survivor, roughly equally. Obviously, as I keep playing Survivor more than I play Killer, that's gonna eventually it's gonna be I have more Survivor hours. But at this point in time, I very well may have more Killer hours, and both sides are roughly 2.5 to 3K hours each. Just for the flat numbers instead of telling the percentage.
Because he slightly overextended a chase. Not even like he was there for 5 and oh my god, the game is it's Survivor.
Hold on. What's he arguing?
The game is already over, as he just finished saying. The game is already over from the very beginning. Because he slightly overextended a chase.
No. He underextended the chase. He dropped the chase. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying he lost the game because he chased odds for too long. I'm saying he lost the game because he spent this X amount of time chasing odds, and he's injured. Finally got him into the ideal scenario, and then dropped chase despite having odds in Clown's ideal scenario. So he spent all that time investing into something and then abandoned that investment. And so therefore, all that time, basically he might as well have been AFK. That's what I'm saying. I thought that was obvious.
Not even like he was there for 5 and oh my god, the game is it's Survivor. He committed to one case.
He didn't
maybe
commit.
A few steps a little too long.
No, it's the opposite. He didn't even commit. How can you say he committed? Otz is injured and Clown is fucking off. He's just running away somewhere else. How is that committing? That's not committing. That is the opposite of committing. He dropped.
And now he has basically no chance of returning. Like, that's insanity.
When you AFK for the first minute of the game, you should have no chance of winning. And the fact that Killer does still very well have chances of winning, even though they can AFK in the first minute, is kind of crazy. Yeah.
Now, are there scenarios where they can?
He's looking through the time of my video. He's not going to watch this.
The outcome.
Okay, he's going to skip ahead.
I have to actually see the outcome of the match.
Is he going to skip like the biggest points in this video? He's going to skip the biggest points in this video. This is so bad, dude. Come on, I'm watching your whole video. You can't even watch my whole video. My whole video is only 30 minutes.
Let's see if we actually included it in the video. I think that's a 4 out, yeah.
Oh, that wasn't 4, it was 3.
Yeah, that's a 4 out.
Was it 4?
Yeah.
No, he had someone on the hook, right?
Yep.
I totally,
3 out, 4
I forget.
out, same thing.
Yeah.
So,
sirens. Anyway.
What is the moral of the story? Right? What is the
Oh
the
boy,
main
let's hear
takeaway?
it.
One, it still doesn't disprove anything that we've been saying. The game is still objectively survivor-sided in every way possible.
That's not what objectively means. The stats are what's objective. So if you want to talk objectively speaking, the stats suggest that the game is killer-sided. You want to say it's objectively anything, then be objective and say that it's objectively killer-sided. And if you want to disagree with the stats, then argue with it. But you can't say it is objectively survivor-sided when the stats show that it is killer-sided. This is so stupid,
We already
man.
have plenty of evidence to prove those things.
Then give it to me.
Just blah blah blah. I made up something. Therefore, you know what I mean.
I made up the stats? Get out of here,
Just
dude.
the majority of what Survivor players usually bring to the conversation. What they bring-
There it is. Survivor player. It's a discriminatory fucking label. Like, you can't just say he's a Survivor main and now it like now you can just dismiss everything I say. That's so asinine. Frankly, that's a prejudice. But I mean, we've had that discussion many
bring up
times.
the but one guy streaked with blood.
No, not one guy. Obviously. Obviously.
Congratulations.
So stupid. Where's the one Swift streak that matches it? Yeah. Crazy how you just leave out half of the argument. If you wanted to have a balanced argument, you could say, oh, one guy on Blight gets this crazy streak. What about one Swift gets this crazy streak? Or even just one selfish solo queue survivor that it has all those escape streaks. You know, why not that too? No, of course not. No, of course not. It's okay to bring up, to say some kind of fallacious argument. Oh, the one guy on Killer, you know, but you can't do it. Your arguments don't. You can't apply your arguments to both sides. That's how you know your argument is fucking wrong.
That not every single Killer player is doing that. It's like, it makes no sense. And I just don't understand. Like, I don't know what else to do with that. You know what I mean?
Argue the point. You haven't done so
It still
yet.
doesn't disprove anything. There's not really much disproving anything. My point. Because it's still the point still stands.
What point? What?
He's on the most survivor-sided map,
Oh my god.
playing a
dude.
weak killer. C tier. By the
Okay, so Clown is not a weak Clown is not a weak killer. You can call him C tier all you want. I don't know if I've given this argument in videos, but if not, here it is. It's very simple. Killers on a tier list are being compared to each other. So you can say Nurse Blighter S tier. You can call Clown C tier by comparison. But killers aren't going against each other in matches. They're going against survivors. So you can sit there and say, this killer is S tier, this killer is C tier, this killer is F tier. But at the end of the day, Pig isn't going against a nurse. Pig is going against survivors who, spoiler alert, survivors are not on the killer tier list. So like, calling Clown C tier is literally a fallacy. You are redirecting because it's not relevant to killer versus survivor. Clown being C tier is only relevant for clown versus other killers. So like this fucking bullshit, dude. It's just fallacy after fallacy. It's so frustrating. You have not addressed any points. You have not argued anything.
Too, so like, bro, does not even have the knowledge to even have a fighting chance. So like, and then he's going against odds. So it's like, odds already is gonna just win that automatically. So I'm like, yeah, it's already over. Like,
it's an appeal
I'm
to
not saying,
authority.
like, odds is unstoppable, but like he definitely.
So you're not, because it sounds like you are. Okay, sounds like you are.
As the knowledge, more knowledge than the clown player will.
But Otz's knowledge doesn't matter in especially this scenario we were talking about mostly in this video with that one tile. Otz's knowledge, Otz could be an omniscient being. All right, he could have a fucking glowing halo behind his head. It doesn't matter. What matters is the clown's capabilities. Otz can't break the game, even if he's an all-knowing god. You'd have to be an all-powerful god as well. All-knowing does not mean all-powerful. Even if Otz is an all-knowing god, all it takes is Clown to know where to put 2 bottles, and then Clown gets a free hit on the all-knowing being that is Ottsdarva. Yeah, it's just
More than likely.
weird, dude.
So it's already over. Like the battle's over before it began. So it's like, come on. But I want to know what you guys think in the comment section, man. Let me know. Become a member on YouTube or Patreon, or even subbing on Twitch. I will see you guys in the next one. All right, let's go ahead and read off these.
Okay. I already commented on this video, but what I said was, LOL, I'm at work. I'll watch this later, basically. I think I said something about the thumbnail, because I don't fucking play Meg. I don't know why I'm being represented by a Meg, especially with how much people hate Sable, and I'm a Sable main, but he probably hasn't seen that fact. He probably would have jumped on that, which is really funny. Anyway, I'm going to leave another comment here, because now that I watched his video, I'm going to have to tell him, recording a reaction. It's over an hour before editing. I'm sure you won't watch it, but you didn't even watch the strongest parts of my video before just kind of skimming through it and then, like, you know, strawmanning me. So anyway, yeah, anyway, I'm going to say that. I'm going to kind of try to end it on some kind of peaceful note, but like, and again, like, you know, like, we're arguing, right? We severely disagree with each other, but, you know, we can still keep it respectful. You know I've said, you know, your arguments are stupid, blah, blah, blah. I'm not trying to say you're stupid. But I do think you're being disingenuous in at least several instances here. And maybe you're not. I don't really care, honestly. It doesn't matter. Is this ice or wet glass? It must be wet glass. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. GG's.